going on. Let's talk Ben Simmons. I know you guys are absolutely not tired of this content. Let's talk off-season. Let's talk Danny Green, Matisse Thybulle. Let's talk some things going on about interesting things we got going on there. Let's talk Bleacher Report, because Bleacher Report loves talking about the Sixers because it's the off-season, and what team is more exciting than the Sixers during the off-season. Let's get into it, but before doing so, please subscribe. I mean, I'm on my knees right now. Please subscribe. I'm almost at a K. I need to have a K. You know, we need to bring home some moolah la to make this content more, consistent. Let's get into it. It's interesting. It's interesting right now. I saw an article this morning, Bleacher Report put out, that said the verdict is the Sixers should hold on to Ben Simmons until at least the deadline. Is that a good idea? I, on face value, completely understand what they're saying. I think it's probably a smart idea to hold on to a dude who has his trade values at an all-time low right now to kind of see what his value is going to be later on next season. I mean, I understand it. He's a 25-year-old three-time All-Star whose trade value is not of a 25-year-old three-time All-Star, if that makes sense. And like the Sixers' best bet probably would be to hold on to him. But that being said, I think it's a terrible idea. And I think it's a terrible idea because we're completely throwing away Embiid's half the season at least. And, it's just not, we just can't have Ben Simmons on the Sixers. I mean, he will get booed more than any Philadelphia athlete in the history of sports if he comes back and plays a game. I mean, there's no way the fans of Philadelphia are going to allow their eyes to view Ben Simmons in the Sixers jersey again. There's no shot, right? And I think Daryl Morey understands that, and I would love to not see him play in the Sixers jersey again, and I think it's kind of come to the point where we might have to take a little less just to avoid seeing him play. And sometimes I think, especially this past postseason, I mean, it's an addition by subtraction, which is a shame. Because Ben's a great player, and he's still a crazy potential player. Dude, he just is a stud. He could be a stud, but he was such a negative on the court during the Hawks series that there's no way. We would have won that series with Brogdon at the one instead, and that says a lot because I don't really think much of Malcolm Brogdon. And I mean, Ben Simmons is a way better player than Malcolm Brogdon, but I think literally anybody else in that point guard hole would have gotten us through that series. And I mean, if you look at the finals now, don't get me wrong, Phoenix is a great team, but Embiid would have been the best player on that court, and it's so frustrating. It's just so frustrating knowing I think this year's probably our year, and Ben Simmons is the sole reason as to why we aren't in the finals. And I think for that reason alone, you just got to ship him. You got to get rid of him because I seriously can't stand to watch him again. And I think Morey realizes that. I think Morey sees that. But I think Morey's going to go for something. I mean, I understand him declining that Pacers deal. You don't want to just accept the first deal that comes around, you got to test out the waters. You got to see how the offseason and free agency goes down too, especially. But crunch time is going to be NBA draft and onward. We're going to see, I think, by the end of free agency, if Ben Simmons is probably still on the Sixers, I think probably he would end up being on the Sixers. Hopefully I'm wrong, because you do see, especially recently, trades like the Westbrook trade that was literally a week before camp started. He just got traded, which is insane to me still to this day. I think that's wild that Westbrook and John Wall trade went down that late in the offseason. That was crazy. But I just don't think you're going to see that out of Daryl Morey and with Ben Simmons. I don't. I think you're going to see something during that crunch time period of the NBA draft, a little post free agency. That's the window that we have, and I think Morey understands that. I also am wondering if Danny Green's going to resign. I would like to think that he would resign on a much smaller contract. I want Danny Green to come back, you know what I mean? And I don't think Matisse Thybulle offensively is there yet to be a starting shooting guard. And especially, man, if Ben Simmons comes back, we can't have Thybulle in the starting five with Ben, because their offensive inefficiencies are so ridiculous. Together, it would be the worst offensive starting five ever, which is crazy because Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid and Seth Curry, who a dude is just an absolute splash. Just a cannon. I just don't I don't think you can start Matisse Thybulle and Ben Simmons on the starting five together, and I don't think Thybulle is really a starting caliber player yet either, which is unfortunate. But I would like to bring back Danny Green for at least a year, on a small contract, like around the $5.5 million range, because I think anything more is really gonna come back and bite you in the butt, because Danny Green's going to decline, obviously, especially post injury. We'll see how he deals with that, but I don't know. Then there comes Furkan Korkmaz, who personally I don't think the Sixers are going to re-sign. I don't think they have any reason to re-sign him, and that's going to be a great day. A great, great day when I hear Furkan Korkmaz is signed to another team, because I promise you I'll make a video, and it'll be my most exciting video yet. They have other dudes, Mike Scott. Does he have one more year? I don't know. If this year was his last year, good riddance, Mike Scott. Enjoyed the hive while it lasted for that one series against Brooklyn like 2 years ago. I think the Sixers have a lot of interesting things they need to look at. The Dwight Howard, is Dwight Howard worth another minimum deal? I would say yeah. I think he's been fantastic all season long, but when it came playoff time, he really, really struggled to play with Atlanta. Atlanta was too young, too fast, too quick for him. Dwight Howard just didn't really carve out good minutes, but during the regular season, he was fantastic. I would gladly bring Dwight Howard back on the same exact deal next year. I would really like to, make a video on free agency specifically once I do a lot of research on, players available, on financials and on all of that. But for now, I would just like to say to you guys, there is no way that Ben Simmons should be in a Sixers jersey at any point next year. I don't care what Bleacher Report says. Please trade the man, but not for CJ McCollum. Please.